How do we improve your mental health? Why is it important? And what can you do right now? So, why is mental health important? I used to ask myself this question all the time. I pretended I didn't care about mental health and I was fine, till I went to a physical. And at that physical, it's my 13, 12 year checkup. I was a porn addict, junk food addict, I was a binge eater, and my doctor told me, you have clinical depression. And I was like, what? No way. So I was like determined to not let this diagnosis affect my life at all. I went home and I did nothing. I didn't do anything to change it, I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. I would constantly drown out all my feelings of self-doubt, of feeling like I'm not enough, with YouTube videos, video games, porn. I hated who I was, but I also took no action to fix myself. And that's how so many people live in this modern day. So many people just kind of deal with all these horrible things that pop into their head. Be like, yeah, whatever, I'll just watch another YouTube video to drown it out. And, if you're watching this, I hope that you're tired of having those thoughts in your head and you want something or somebody to help you. So let me help you. So right now, what I want you to do is I want you to pause this video for a second and just assess what your brain says to you. Are most of the thoughts that pop in your head positive or negative? If it's negative, what can you do to fix it? And just do this repeatedly throughout every day, giving your brain time to look at itself and fix its own problems, to stop hating itself and start thinking logically, not thinking emotionally. Now, before I start this video, if you're a little weakling, a little pleb, and you can't imagine this, get out, because this journey isn't something that you snap your fingers and suddenly you're happy over. Now, this is going to take months, maybe years of time of struggle to make your mental health better, but it'll also be very gratifying. It will be extremely hard, but there's going to be times where you feel like you're slipping back, where you feel like your mental health is not as good as it was, where you feel like you're not making any progress. But there'll also be times when you can look at yourself and think, I've done very well. I love how I look. And I'm not perfect yet. It's been a year and a half. I'm still not perfect with my mental health, but my progress has been so great. And most of my life, I enjoy without my brain giving me all these negative thoughts. So now I'm going to help you get to the point that I am, to make progress that feels super good, So how do we get started with improving your mental health? Well, I think there's three main things that I do right now that I really like to do. It takes maybe an hour a day. It's not very long at all. And it really, really helps me clear my head of really bad thoughts and everything like that. So what it is meditation, gratitude journaling, and going outside, playing with my friends, and getting sunlight. I'll dive into those deeper, but first I want to go with the main things that are destroying your mental health, being junk food, video games, porn, social media. And while starting things like gratitude journaling, meditation are very important, and they will help you, if you don't address the problems that are destroying your mental health, you'll be just in this endless cycle of going up and down, ruts and happy, and you'll never be able to get consistent. So let's start with things that are going to destroy your mental health. Now, I'm not even gonna hold you. The beginning of this mental health journey was the hardest point in my life. And it will mess you up. You know, you will try and quit porn, social media, junk food that have had you hooked for years. And you will fall back again and again into porn, into binge eating. And you're going to know how bad it is for you, but you're not going to know how to stop it. This is the point where most people quit. Most people are like, oh, this is stupid, whatever, I'll be fine. But we don't want to be like most people. If you're watching a 15-year-old tell you how you should improve your mental health, clearly you do not want to be like most people. So, let me tell you, falling back into porn, into junk food, was completely fine. You know, it's completely expected of you to fall back into these addictions, as long as you're making progress. Like, let's say with junk food, you know, let's say you were eating junk food every single day. And then, you know, you went 2 days without eating junk food, and then you relapsed again. You ate more junk food on the third day. That's really good. Most people would be angry because, oh, I ate junk food again. Dang it. But that's really good. You know, it shows that you've already made so much progress that you're able to go 2 days without eating junk food. And now, instead of you couldn't even go an hour. So try and be happy with the progress you've made and expect failures along the way, because they're going to happen. But be happy about the progress that you make in between. Alright, so let's talk about the things you're struggling with. So I'm going to loop these two together because at this point, they're the same thing. And these are by far the most dangerous thing for you. That's porn, social media. Now, chances are, if you're watching this video, you know how bad they are, and you're trying to quit. But what they do to you is that these sites take away your energy, your willingness to do things, because what happens is when you, how do I say this? When you nut, pretty much, you take away all this energy in your body, because your brain thinks, oh yeah, I just, reached the peak of human life, I gotta go pregnant, I'm continuing my bloodline, so now I can relax for a little bit. But your brain also knows, I just watched other people do it, and I'm actually a little loser. And you get in this cycle of your brain knowing you're a loser, but your brain also saying, yeah, we're fine, we don't need to do anything. So your brain has conflicting ideas that clash with each other. They hurt themselves so bad, and then you get worse. And the same thing with social media. Social media is essentially the same thing as porn. There's so much garbage on social media with people, shaking ass on TV and everything. It's the same thing. But social media also has that where you see all these people doing better than you and you get knocked down again, because your brain has this thing in its mind where it knows where it is. It's like tribal hierarchy. And each time that you see somebody better than you, get knocked down and down and down and down and down. Until your brain just thinks, oh my goodness, like, I'm the absolute bottom of the barrel. I'm gonna get kicked out soon. So it just ruins your brain mental health. So, how do we quit porn? Well, let's be real here. You're never going to just stop eating porn today. Or eating porn. You're never going to stop watching porn. Just like that, There's gonna be something that's hard. I talked about this. Our goal with this is just to lengthen the time between relapses, because our goal isn't to have, that guy who has the marker and he's etching into his wall every day that he's got going on, and like, can't do this anymore. We want to be the guy that's like just sitting there, doesn't care because it's not a part of his life anymore. So I want you to start thinking that porn isn't a part of your life anymore. That it's just not something that you need to do anymore. You can be the guy that etches into his wall but is his mental health really good? If he's there every day worried about how he's going to relapse and when he's going to do it, keeping a streak. Well, then is his mental health even really good? Because he's worrying constantly. We want to be the guy that has no worries, that knows eventually it's going to happen, but we're just trying to make it a long gap. We're trying to make it so it doesn't even affect us anymore. So just by focusing on the time in between them and not the actual action of relapsing, your life will be so much better because you'll start to realize that you're not even thinking about it. You don't care. I don't go around every day thinking, oh, I don't want to relapse. Sure, it happens sometimes, like once a month, twice a month, maybe. But, I don't go around every day trying my best and, worrying about the next time I do it. I don't care. It's really not that big of a part of my life anymore, and that's what makes it important. That's what makes it better. I've completely removed social media porn from my life, except for a few occasions. And that's what's important. Just being able to stop thinking about those things. So start focusing on making progress and not so much on the actual failures of what happens. All right. So junk food. For 95% of people, especially Americans, junk food may be like the biggest reason for the depression and anxiety. I went researching, and there was a poll that said that 75% of Americans did not like the way they looked. They hated the way they looked. And for 99% of those people, it probably comes down to the fact that they're fat. People always talk about the physical problems of eating too much junk food, like gaining weight, heart problems, blah, blah, blah. But nobody talks about the mental health problem. Because not only does it make you fat, but when you're fat, you hate the fact that you're fat. And it wrecks your brain. Junk food wrecks your ability to function. Come with me. Imagine that there are two guys. One eats a super healthy dinner of chicken and broccoli. The other guy eats some cookies, some brownies, maybe a little bit of chicken, but there were chicken nuggets anyways. 100 grams of sugar in his dinner. Who do you think's gonna have the better, more productive day the next day? The guy who had the chicken, who feels nice and healthy and full, or the guy who had the cookies, whose stomach's grumbling, he's sad that he ate like that? The guy who had the chicken, right? His body will be nourished, his brain will be nourished, and he'll be ready when challenges arrive. The guy who ate the junk food, he's gonna feel bad about it. He's gonna feel sleepy and lethargic because he has so much sugar in his system. He's gonna have brain fog, he won't be motivated. And guys feel like this every day of their life because of junk food. It sounds horrible. How do you expect to be successful if you can't even think straight? That's why you have to quit junk food. It's simple to say, oh yeah, just quit junk food. But it can be really, really hard, can't it? So, again, we have to understand that this is not something where we're just going to snap our fingers and we're no longer going to want to eat junk food ever again. It's all about making that progress. So, you'll get unbearable cravings just like you got unbearable cravings to relapse. So you're going to get unbearable cravings to binge eat. But what you have to do is, again, expect those failures. If you were eating a diet where you had 50% junk food and 50% healthy, you're never going to be able to just go from 100 to 0 immediately, But what we want to do is maybe go 55% healthy food, 45% junk food. That's already a 5% increase in our health. Then we just slowly continue to go and go and go, breaking down the amount of times we eat junk food. Because having the progress is what's most important, having the progress of being able to not get those cravings because you're not eating junk food as much. So your brain realizes, oh, I don't need junk food anymore. Being able to not have those cravings, being able to not have to think about junk food all the time, and being able to live your life without brain fog, with mental clarity, with being happy, with being nourished, is what we want to have, right? And it's not easy. It takes time. You'll get cravings, but you need to push through the cravings. You need to expect that you're going to get cravings and be ready for them. All right? There was this really good book that it's called Psycho-Cybernetics. This book is great for reframing your mind, improving your mental health, and it'll help you build those really good habits. So if you can, go get that book. It's a really, really good book. Now we're on the final one, video games. So on the surface, and you guys know that I don't think video games are the worst. If you play them occasionally, it's whatever. But when you're completely addicted to video games, like 6 hours a day, that is not okay. When I play video games, it's like 1 hour, maybe 2 hours a week. I play video games maybe once a week on the weekends with my friends. Having 6 hours a day is awful because, one, it'll waste time. In the video game world, you can be whatever you want. You can be the dragon hunter, the super big bodybuilder, the boxer, whatever. But you don't have to put any work in. And, some gamers will be like, well, actually, there's a lot of work that goes into video games. But, you don't have to put in the years of training it takes to be a boxer in UFC 4 or whatever. But so what it does is, just wrecks you because you waste all your time in this virtual world where nothing happens. And then you come into the real world and you're a loser. Like, I can't put it in a better way. You're an absolute loser. You're a degenerate. And you see that and you're like, I hate this. You hate the fact that you're a loser in the real world, but it brings you back in the virtual world where you are rank 10 in Call of Duty, where you're like diamond ranked and whatever. And you're like, yeah, this is where I get my respect. And you waste all your time in there, but you still know that you're a loser in real life. You can spend your time in the real world making your life better. Gaining XP in the real world, in strength when you're doing weightlifting, in speed if you go running. And, reaping the benefits of being the super respected guy in the real world. Try and do all these steps. Try and remember them and do them well. But remember, this journey in improving your mental health, this journey into improving your life, into self-improvement as a whole, is not something that you are going to do overnight. This is for life. And there's always going to be times where you really don't want to meditate. You really don't want to write in your journal. You really want to eat junk food. You have to keep pushing. This journey is full of ups. It's full of downs. There will be periods where everything is going right for you and you feel like you're in God mode. There'll be periods where you feel like you can't stay on track at all. But that's life. And you will always be improving even in those times of hardship. Life is full of challenges and successes. You need to embrace them and focus on making progress, not being perfect. Anyways, I hope this video helped. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.